What is the Islamic take on manifestation?
I never heard it phrased as manifestation. I heard it phrased as a law of attraction.
Hmm.
I know most people that have been to scholars and asked about this, they will just tell them straight out, this is haram. The reason being it haram is because it takes Allah out of the picture to some degree. But they might say it's the universe, like the universe starts to comply towards your the intention you set out on. But that the problematic with that, even if we say that the universe is Allah, let's say that's the ultimate power, whatever you want to call it, it's as if that power is complying to what you want,
Yeah.
which is incredibly problematic.
Of course.
I remember, I think Gabor Mate had a quote there. He said, magical thinking, because this is magical thinking. It's you setting your mind on something and believing that you have some ability to have an impact on the world on a very broad spectrum. Of course, we have an impact on the world in terms of the day-to-day we're dealing and interacting, but almost as if you are the cause of things coming in. He says this is magical thinking is a childlike state. And it is a part, like Ken Wilber speaks about this in his in his stages of development. The child at one stage, they believe they're responsible for everything and they can enact anything. And so it's a developmental stage, and it's a narcissistic stage. And when narcissism isn't inherently bad, it's just it should have been outgrown. Or a lot of these dysfunction or disorder, or whatever you want to call it, they're not that they're disorders. It's just they should have been left behind many years ago, and the person in certain areas of their personality has been stunted. And that's so beautiful because the Quranic verse phrases it just like that. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. The one that reaps his reward and is successful, who enables it to almost grow out of that stage. وَقَدْ خَابَ. And the one that's lost and failed is the one dassaha. And dassaha is to stomp on something. So it's literal stunting.
Suppressing.
Emotions have an intelligence, and they often are stunted or ruptured, then we can't address it cognitively. They're solution focused. It won't work because solution focus is cognitive, and it's an adult way of dealing with something that's very vulnerable. You will show up as a young child in that very vulnerable state when we're dealing with these things, and that can be shown up in a volatile sense. So that's the power of somatics, because I say if your mind's drifting off, or your body's tensing, or you're holding your breath, you are defending, you're coping with something, you're bracing and not wanting to deal with something. So that I can bring some sanity back there, because I can't deny that my body's responding.
Yeah.
So bringing this into the context of this, what we're talking about, is I believe this desire to almost believe this manifestation that I can bring about a change is because I believe people have been robbed of their autonomy.
Yeah.
So people who haven't experienced agency or success in what they deem to be success in their life, it's very reassuring to think that if I set my mind on something, I can bring it about. And the first stage is true, I believe, is that we are required to set an intention towards something. And that's an internal processing. That's me in the picture. I want something, I'm going to set my mind to it. The second piece is missing in manifestation, is then how does the reality around you align to that? Is it in congruence with it? Is it aligning with it? Or is it in opposition? This is the relational piece now. The other, which is fundamentally, if we broaden it, it's being in relationship to Allah. So we set an intention, but Allah's going to send us feedback. Is this what he wants? So I have a real issue. Even I personally been on courses and they say, what do you want to get from this course? And I understand it's justified. So you're setting a motivation, but sometimes I'm reluctant because I say, yes, I could set a intention, but that's in cognition, and my cognition is limited. I want to actually see what emerges on this course because I don't know. At the same time, we have to allow for an emergence to happen.
Yeah.
So we set an intention, and then we wait for emergence. What emerges from that, so we can realign our intention.